Hello guys. This time around we are going to be looking at how you can create your GitHub account. So we're going to be using the GitHub account, to store a project, to work with other people, to collaborate, and so on and so forth. All right. But first of all, you need to have your GitHub account all set up. So this video is going to walk you through the processes of setting up your GitHub account. So all you need to do is just go to your browser and type in GitHub. Okay. GitHub. Okay. Um, okay. All right. So all I have to do is click on GitHub. Okay. And sign in. All right. You obviously this is not the first time. This is I'm guessing this is going to be the first time. So all you have to do is do what click on the sign up button. So click on sign up and give it a few seconds for it to. All right. So once it is loaded up, all you need to do is add in your email address. All right, so I created this email just for the purpose of this video. So it's Ifemena April at gmail.com. Okay, and I'll click on continue. All right. So the next thing I want to do is put in a password. Okay, the password is going to be very easy and straightforward, but you can make it as complex as possible. Okay. Okay, and I'm just being sure I'm writing the right thing. Just one. Okay. Right. Username, I'm going to go with Ifemena IK. All right, continue. Okay, Ifemena, let's say Ifemena Ife Tenabilities. Okay, all right. I'm going to click on continue. Would you like to receive product updates and announcement via email? No, but if you want to, you click on Y for yes, and that's good to go. You're good to go. I'm going to click on continue, and please solve this puzzle to verify that you are human. So, as usual, click on start puzzle. So, two identical objects, okay? Two identical objects. So, this one, right? They're going to give me another one. I'm going to go with this one. Yes, create account. Okay, so once the account is created, it's going to send an email to the email address you provided. So I'm going to go to my email and get the details, get the password or the code, basically. I'm going to copy that and paste. All right. So I'm going to answer just a very few questions. How many team members will be working with you? So if you're just starting, you don't need to specify the team members. You can just put, yeah, just me. Are you a student or a teacher? So you're a student or a teacher. So I'm going to click teacher and I'm going to click on continue. There is no problem. You can select anything. There's no restriction to what you can select. So what specific features are you interested in using? None. This is also just questions, okay? Nothing serious. So you might want to use it for automation. You might want to use it for collaborative coding. You might want to use it for project management, system administration, so on and so forth. All right, I'll just click this for and click on continue. Not necessarily, okay, but I just selected this for. All right, so get additional teacher benefits. So if you're that's for if you're using teacher, if you're a teacher basically, but you all you need is the free account. You don't need to pay for anything. Okay, just go with continue for free. All right, click on continue for free, and boom, it's launching your dashboard. So currently it's initializing your dashboard. So just give it a few seconds for it to initialize, and you're good to go. So on the top left corner, you'll see create your first project. Okay, ready to start building. Create a repository for your new ideas and bring over existing repository to keep collaborating, contributing to it. Okay, so you can either import a repository if you have a repository already, or you could create a repository. Okay, so a repository basically is where you store, where you store items, okay, where you store your projects. Okay, say for example, you work on a project and you had Excel files, you have different documents that you want to save, and that's what you save it. So in your own situation right now, you're going to be working on quite a number of projects. Okay, so each of those projects that you're going to be working on, you should have a repository where you store the documents. Okay, so take for example, you're working on a machine learning project, right? After concluding the project or even during the process, you can always save your progress into a repository. Now, after completing several projects, you can actually send your GitHub account or your GitHub link to potential recruiters, employers, and stuff like that for them to see the kind of projects you've worked on in the past. So those are the kind of repositories we are going to be creating. So I'm going to show you how to create your own repository. All right. So click on create repository. Okay. And repository name, I'm just going to talk about one is a project I worked on a while ago. Okay, so let me just quickly look for the project. And so this could be any project that you have on your system that you feel you can work with. I'm just going to show you how you can create your own project, your own repository in GitHub. All right. So this particular project is basically house price prediction. Okay, house price predictions. Okay, so description is optional, but you can put a description to tell a little bit story about what the project is all about. So you can leave it public, all right, so that anybody you send a link, your profile link to, would have access. You can see what you've done. So that's why it's public. Private, on the other hand, is you need to grant people access to view your reports, to view your repository. Okay, so I'll leave it public because I essentially want anybody to be able to see, the projects I have worked on. So I'll leave it as public. All right. I'm going to click on add a README file. Okay. And after that, I will create a repository. I'll click on create repository. So now with this here, I would explain what add a README file is as we continue, but just click on create repository. Create repository. Now, this is the README file. This is the README file. So you can say readme.md. All right. So what a README means is basically giving an introduction to your repository. It's more or less like an introduction to your repository. So take for example, I go back to my own page. I sent this link to a potential recruiter. All right, the person wants to see the projects I worked on. Clicks on the first repository, okay, and this README gives an introduction to what the project is all about. So you want to be as detailed, you want to be, every detail about the project, your observations, your analysis, what you did, everything basically you can put it in the README file. So the person can go through all the actions that you've gone through. So I'll click on the pen just to add more details to it. I'll click on the pen just to add a little bit of details to it. So take for example, this is house price prediction. I'm going to press enter. Okay. And I could just put this is a test video of how to create your price proposal. Okay. All right. So let's say I want to add an image because I'm dealing with house prices. So let's add like a picture, like a frame, a picture. So I'm just gonna go to, let me say houses, PNG, or houses pictures, or let me just say houses, and I'm gonna click images. Okay. Let me just go with something illustration, probably. You can use any picture. I just prefer using something that is not really real life. All right. So something like this kind of images, basically. Nothing too sophisticated. So I'm gonna go with this. Okay. So all I need is the link of the picture. All I need is the link. So I'll right click and copy image address. Copy image address. So right click on the picture and copy image address. All right. Go back to the home page. Okay, go back to your GitHub page. Then now I'll put an exclamation mark, a square bracket. I'll type in the word image. Okay, close the square bracket, open a round bracket, put the link, and close the link. All right. So what I've done now is once I click on image preview, you see the images, dangling in there. Okay, so you see the image is in there already. Okay, and all I have to do is just go back to edit file, and you know, I I can start to write whatever I want to write. So I'm just so that I don't waste too much time. I'm just gonna copy like a copy something for us to work with. And once I've copied and pasted, but basically, you are not supposed to copy and paste. You're supposed to give a detail about the project, what the project is all about. So you used to read this and ask a home buyer to describe their dream house. They probably will begin with the height of the basement ceiling and proximity to the east-west real world. But anyways, okay, with 79 explanatory variables describing and all that, blah, 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 all that. So practice skills, creating feature engineering, advanced regression techniques like random forest and gradient boosting. So just giving an idea of what the project and what you've done with this repository itself. So at the end of everything, once I've made the changes, I click on preview and I can see it looks nice. I'm okay, I'm good to go. All right. I'll add one space here. I'll add just a space. And once I'm done with that, I'll click on commit changes and I am good to go. So anybody that clicks on my repository now would see this README file. Okay. And it gives a better, it's a lot more, it's a lot more understandable. Let me put it that way, okay? And a lot more, packaged, neat, so that anybody that sees it knows exactly what the repository is all about. So I'm going to click on house prices predictions, okay? Go back, okay, to the main page, and now you see everything looks aligned, everything looks nice and good, okay? So basically, that's how to add images, that's how to add a README file and all that, okay? Now, I'm going to add all the materials to the project. So currently it's just a README file that is in there. So the next thing I want to add is all the materials I used on this particular project. So for safekeeping, for viewing, for other people to collaborate, for other people to see, I can just add all the files to my repository. So I'm going to click on add file, then I'll upload files. Okay. And you can see they made it very easy. All right, drag files here to add them to your repository. So I'm going to go to my local drive. Okay, I'm going to go to my local drive and house prices. I have all this here. So I have the data description. I have the Jupyter source file. I have the Python file. I have the data set that I used for the analysis and visualization and so on. All right. So what I have to do is just to highlight everything, every single one of the data, every one of the documents I have there. Okay. Drag and drop it inside, where you have the box here. So allow GitHub to do the processing and everything has been processed. All I have to do next is, once everything has loaded properly, all I have to do now is click on commit changes. All I have to do now is click on commit changes. So once I click on commit changes, it's processing your file. So let's do the processing, okay? And now everything is in there. So whenever I go to let me just go to F8 Analytics, okay? Let's just go to my profile, go to my repository. You see everything is beautifully aligned, okay? So from the data set all the way to the Python file to the Jupyter notebook, everything is in there. So let me take a look at the Jupyter notebook. I'll click on that. All right, so this is the Jupyter notebook. So for Python, okay, so you can see everything is in there. So all the analysis. So if a potential recruiter or a potential, somebody you're working with, is requesting for this document, they can easily see the step-by-step approach that you've taken to do your analysis. All right. So that's basically part of the benefit of working. So even you can easily send the link to people you're working with, and they can easily have access to it, look at what you've done, and all the rest. Okay. So we're going to be still looking at more complex things and how you can leverage GitHub for collaboration, for automation, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So anyways, these are all the files that have been uploaded, and you can always check them out anytime you want. You can send the link to people for them to read. So you easily just copy the link, all right, and you can send to you the link to the repository, and you can send to potential recruiters, employers, put it in the CV, and so on and so forth. Okay. So one last thing I would like to show you is your profile. Click on your profile. Okay. So this also gives you a way in a particular way in the real. So if you've not been contributing as often as possible, you will see that obviously you can see there's a lot of black spaces here. Okay. But with the green mark, you can see that the more contribution you make to GitHub, okay, the more you upload your projects, the more so you need to keep working. You need to keep adding to your repository so that you have that green mark to show that you've been consistent, in developing yourself or working hard or whatever the case might be. All right. So for the rest of the courses, all right, all your projects, everything you work on, ensure you are putting it on your GitHub page so that if you're a newbie, like you're a data science, you're a data analyst looking to start your career, always try to upload your projects and let people know your contribution that you've been doing to your career so far. All right. So this is the end of this video. We'll be making more videos on how to leverage data for all the aspects, in your data science career, data analytics career. So let me know in your data career as a whole, essentially. All right. So cheers and see you in the other videos. So if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay. Analytics. Bye guys.